Coming up in the news tonight, strides being made to advance the communication sector in the country. Choosing partners being trained for the reopening of the country's borders. And COVID-19 causing the postponement of the local government elections. The Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
This is the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Good evening, all. I'm Megan Shepard. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news, the 2020-2021 budget debate continuing in the House of Assembly this morning. Parliamentary Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister and Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe, delivering her communication, noting that over the past 3 years, major strides have been made to advance the agencies within the communications sector. And this budget year will be no different. Italia Hall has more.
The Parliamentary Secretary in the Office of the Prime Minister, responsible for communications, and Member of Parliament for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, Pakeisha Parker Edgecombe, expressing her commitment to the areas in her portfolio during her contribution to the budget debate. At Bahamas Information Services, she notes that the agency is transitioning smoothly, using technology to effectively disseminate news and information across the country. Edgecombe also announcing that there's a new manager at the helm at BIS in Freeport. Veteran journalist Simon Lewis has retired, and veteran broadcast journalist Ricardo Lightbourne now holds the top position. As it relates to the Broadcasting Corporation of the Bahamas, ZNS, in its 83rd year of operation, the organization was asked to reduce its spending by some 20%, but Edgecombe is asking for some consideration to be given.
We have long-standing legacy debts, Mr. Speaker, that we need to pay off, and we admonish, Mr. Speaker, that consideration be given to assist us in achieving just that. Mr. Speaker, the Northern Service lost its transmitter during the passage of Hurricane Dorian. This loss resulted in 8:10 a.m. being non-operational. However, the transmitter is now on Grand Bahama and anticipated to be fully installed by month's end.
BTC also making progress. The company has started the restoration of mobile services on Grand Key, which suffered significant loss due to Hurricane Dorian. As the island of Grand Bahama continues to recover, a new containerized office has been deployed in East Grand Bahama, which will provide mobile services. But for West Grand Bahama and Bimini, the Member of Parliament says that constituency is faced with many challenges, adding that communities within those districts have been neglected and abandoned for years.
Where is the progress, Mr. Speaker? It cannot be at the 8 Mile Rock High School, where the student population has dwindled drastically. It cannot be at the Louise McDonald High School, where there is a need for an upgrade to its curriculum and facility. It cannot be in the lack of scholarships being offered to deserving students of my constituency. It cannot be in infrastructure, where potholes are rampant, seawalls are missing, or roads need paving.
She says more jobs are needed and is calling for 3 major projects to be completed: the administrative complex in 8 Mile Rock, the junior high school in Holmes Rock, and the administrative complex on the island of Bimini.
We ask that our small business sector be afforded grants that were requested to develop the local economies. Mr. Speaker, I am not in this parliament for pretty. I am here, Mr. Speaker, to use my voice and petition this government to invest more in West Grand Bahama and Bimini and my constituents.
The MP says some $500,000 have been allocated to spend within the constituency, but West Grand Bahama and Bimini deserves more than what they have gotten. Nonetheless, she says they are not ungrateful and thanks the Cabinet of the Bahamas for several undertakings.
The long-awaited completion of the bridge of the Fishing Hole Road, the only thoroughfare that connects the West Grand Bahama community to Freeport, is now nearing its official opening. For this, we say thank you. A contract for the repavement of the runway of the Bimini Airport amounting to some $6,211,285.79 has been signed and awarded to Knowles Construction and Development Company. Work is anticipated to start very soon. For this, we say thank you.
It's Halia Hall, ZNS Network News.
The Ministry of Tourism preparing for the reopening of the country to the international community on July 1st. The ministry hosting a tourism business compliance training session over the past 2 days for industry partners on the island. Officials facilitated the training in order to educate tourism professionals on new and existing protocols, including measures to ensure health and safety, proper waste management, social distancing, hygienic practices, and customer service. General Manager of the Grand Bahama Tourism Office, Stephen Johnson, noting that the 2-day training sessions were extremely successful in an effort to spread the message of new and existing health and safety protocols for those involved in the tourism industry. Thousands of residents participated at 3 locations and via online platforms in order to observe social distancing measures. Johnson says that a number of presenters shared valuable information.
I mean, the training has just been fantastic. We've had thousands online yesterday. We have 3 locations where people can come physically in the morning and in the evening, and they're all being filled up. We have doctors, we have persons from environmental health, we have our Ministry of Tourism personnel who are even talking about questions to address if they're approached by tourists. People they're not here to hear about COVID. But, obviously with our cab drivers, we want them to basically talk about the beauty of the Bahamas and Grand Bahama and the things we have to offer here and not focus so much on the COVID-19 question. And so this training basically is geared towards putting everybody in check for the new reality. And I believe Grand Bahama is ready to move forward. And this is what we're doing today, is make sure everybody's on track.
Johnson says that based on feedback, international bookings are already looking promising.
The Director General has informed us that in looking back at persons that are looking to book the Bahamas is very positive, that these people want to come to the Bahamas. One of the number 1 reasons for them coming into the Bahamas is for beach. And so there seem to be no concerns so far about, they know that the Bahamas has very low COVID rates. And in talking with some of the travel agents in Canada and the U.S., they are excited to come here to visit Grand Bahama and to visit the Bahamas in general. Obviously, they feel very comfortable with the Bahamas, and that's a sure sign we have to represent when they get here.
Now, during this pandemic, many Bahamians have questioned the country's dependency on the tourism sector. Johnson says he believes that this island will indeed rebound and that tourism is here to stay.
We are resilient. We saw from the other monster that came here several months ago to where we are right now with COVID-19. And we already see the positive numbers coming, as the Director General shared with us. And this is what we do. And so we've got to show the world how we're going to represent and how we're going to get back on top in the Caribbean again. So this is our baby, and we will, to make sure that Grand Bahama is on top, make sure that everybody's ready. And we will do the kind of things we need here, as far as our festivals will come back here. But we need people walking around again and basically seeing Grand Bahama in their own special way.
Now, based on the overwhelming feedback, Johnson says that he believes they will host more seminars next week. Now, food vendor at the harbor, Vernique Smith, took part in the training seminar. She says it was very informative, and it was also a refresher course for the sanitization practices already in place at her restaurant.
To take away, I started to take some voice notes, because there's sometimes that you've missed something, but you can go over it and refresh yourselves again. And being a food vendor, and I have persons that work with me, we need to make sure that everyone gets the information. We even went down to discussing putting in some of the shields, to protect both parties, the purchaser and the person serving. And definitely it's going to be a lot more hand sanitizers, but that was always a practice for me. and there's going to be a lot more gloves, which has always been a practice for me. And one of the new norms for us is going to be this mask in our great Bahamian sun.
Vice President of the Port Lucaya Marketplace Vendors Association, Ina Cooper, noting that she enjoys interacting with the customers and admits that the new social distancing measures will be hard to get accustomed to.
It has a lot that we need to implement. You know, Bahamians are famous for hugging and reaching out, and now that is going to be difficult because of the COVID-19. The guidelines that was implemented, it's going to take time getting used to, but by the grace of God, we'll make it.
Now in news from the courts, a second person arraigned before the magistrate court for a double homicide that occurred in February of 2017 at a popular night spot. Shoshina Rowe-Farquharson has the details.
22-year-old Caius Alfonso Duncombe of Baileytown, Bimini, arraigned before Magistrate Charlton Smith in Magistrate Court Number 2 on 2 counts of murder that happened back in February 1st, 2017. You may recall, police were called to the scene outside of Game Time Bar and Lounge around 1 a.m. that morning after receiving reports of gunshots being fired in the area. Reports say on arrival, police met 2 young men suffering from apparent gunshot wounds. EMS personnel were called to the scene. However, one of the victims died on the scene and the other was transported to the hospital where he later died. The 2 young men from Hunters were later identified as Stephon LaFrance, 24, and Joseph Bean Jr., a father of 4, both employed at Roofing Expert. LaFrance was shot in the head and, according to reports, Bain in the chest. The deaths were classified as the island's first and second homicides for 2017. Caius Alfonso Duncombe is now the second person arraigned for the deaths of these 2 men. 33-year-old Terrence Roll, a South Bimini resident, was also formally charged before the magistrate's court back in 2019. Meantime, Duncombe was not required to enter a plea, and the matter was adjourned to July 6, 2020 for trial. He was remanded to the Bahamas Department of Correctional Services. Shoshina Rowe-Farquharson, ZNS Network News.
Meantime, local government elections, which were slated to be held at the end of this month, have had to be postponed due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Chief councilors for the various districts all agree that the decision is in the best interest of all involved. Chief Councilor for East Grand Bahama, Donovan Bowe, says it will allow the various councils to complete initiatives implemented prior to the lockdown.
The announcement of the postponement of local government elections, I believe, is a great decision, and it works in the interest of residents who deserve the opportunity to elect the candidates that they wish in the upcoming local government cycle. I'm confident that when the elections are held, the residents in the various districts would turn out and support the candidates of their choice.
Now, elections will be held within 3 months following the end of the emergency powers orders. Chief Councilor for the City of Freeport, Kendall Culmer, and Councilor for West Grand Bahama, Kevin Morris, are welcoming the postponement.
Persons who are looking to run in the upcoming elections now have more time to basically get on the ground, campaign more, strategize, and use this time wisely to get to know their community as best as possible. With the COVID-19 situation now coming to what seems to be the flattening of the curve, we must continue our social distancing, and because of that, I feel as if that is the best thing right now, and all we have to do is prepare for what is ahead of us.
Last month, the competent authority amended the emergency orders to extend the term of elected practitioners until a writ is issued for the next local government election. At the beginning of this pandemic, we saw where many events was postponed or even canceled worldwide and nationally, and the local government election is no exception. I want to take this opportunity to express thanks to all practitioners in the Bahamas, but especially those in West Grand Bahama who would have served unselfishly over the past 3 years. I also want to make an appeal for community-minded persons to offer themselves as a candidate whenever the next election is called.
And a special donation for the elderly. That story straight ahead.
This portion of the news is brought to you by Dolly Madison, Freeport's original home center.
Dolly Madison Home Center is now open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. to serve your household needs. Ace Hardware, Whirlpool, and GE Appliances, and more. Be sure to ask an associate for assistance if you don't see what you came for. Social distancing and masks are in full effect. And the good news is we will be moving to the former rooms to go in the front of the store as renovations are completed. Join us Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Come on down now. Congratulations to our beautiful daughter, Kiari Elizabeth Cooper, 2020 graduation class at Tabernacle Baptist, from your proud parents, Pastor Naphtali and Sarah Cooper, brother Rashe and niece Kimeyer, and the Lord's House family.
We're so proud of you. The best is yet to come.
This is a different kind of love.
We cannot sit next to our peers, our house family, and friends embrace this moment. In this rapidly changing world,
We stayed focused.
we compete together, we celebrate together.
We are warriors.
Congratulations to 2020 graduate Cody Forbes of Bishop Michael Eldon High School. From Quinn and Quentin LaRota. Also Ashley and Keisha Forbes.
Your #1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Knights of Columbus continuing the mission of service to the family. Recently, the group attached to the Catholic Church making significant donations to better the lives of the elderly and disabled. Jay Philippe has that story.
The Knights of Columbus, a global Catholic fraternal service, donating 20 new wheelchairs to the Rand Memorial Hospital. This donation comes at the time when the island's premier healthcare facility is in need of medical and other supplies after being dealt a heavy blow by Hurricane Dorian 9 months ago. Arnold Neely, district deputy of the group, says the donation is just one way of displaying their faith in action as they seek to serve and protect families.
The hospital providing the type of service that it does will need these chairs in the hospital itself or some of the clinics where they need to provide mobility for patients. So this is the first shipment. I don't know when we will get another one, but we do expect to have more chairs coming in the future.
Neely says the group is dedicated to helping the community.
We are an active community. We are a Catholic men's organization affiliated with all of the Catholic churches on Grand Bahama. And, we work along with our pastors who are closer to identifying the needs of each member. And we provide the assistance that we could when we can.
Sharon Williams, administrator of the Rand Memorial Hospital, was on hand to receive the wheelchairs. She says the chairs will not only be used by patients at the hospital, but will also aid those who may need a wheelchair at their residence.
In lots of instances, we have patients coming to our facility not only to use those wheelchairs within the facility itself, but they have a need sometime personally, and we are able to assist them on behalf of other organizations within the community, because of course we know who these persons are that really need access to the wheelchairs. So we thank them on behalf of our community and definitely on behalf of our healthcare organization.
The service-based Catholic Men's Group also donated some wheelchairs to the Home Away from Home assisted living facility in Carvel Beach. They donated some 8 wheelchairs in honor of Kevin Taylor, who recently passed away. Kirk Cooper.
One of those will be in honor of Kevin Taylor. Kevin Taylor is a friend of mine who passed away recently, and he was also a resident there. And I was able to work with him, to try to motivate him and to, just befriend him. But he passed away at a very young age, and he was a skilled electrician. And I guess in the family's honor and in his honor, we will also be dedicating one of the wheelchairs to Kevin Taylor.
I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
Grand Bahamas' premier healthcare facility on the receiving end this week as a local pastor and a team of international partners providing some important medical equipment for those on the front line of the fight against COVID-19. Here is Jay Philippe once again.
The Ebenezer Foundation has been a staple in the Grand Bahama community for over the past 20 years and has assisted families with food and hurricane relief items. President Barry Morris, along with some partners, making another donation, this time more than $25,000 worth of medical equipment to the Rand Memorial Hospital.
We want to donate to the Rand Memorial Hospital some $25,000 worth of medical supplies. And we will be doing the same into New Providence in a number of weeks. Of course, this here is also a Bahamian-led company. Beyond making donations, this company would also has under its belt a number of items that we want to engage the medical community in being supplied with these goods.
Noting the challenges the hospital has had to endure, from severe damage as a result of Hurricane Dorian to recent issues as a result of a freak weather system, Morris says they felt compelled to help.
It's my conviction that I have to take care of Grand Bahama and make sure that Grand Bahama is fitted with what it has or what it needs, and then I can move on to other things. And likewise, the Bahamas, we are offering the Bahamas a price on medical equipment that basically nobody else is offering at the prices that we can offer.
Among the items donated, personal protective equipment kits, bedpans, and medical tubing.
It gives an opportunity for me to express thanks to Mr. Kenny Cadmus, who is the president of Fight Rights, and Mr. Dale Rojas, who is the president of Global United. I am, of course, the president of the Ebenezer Foundation, and we have come together to impact the Bahamas in terms of the area of medical supplies. And we form this alliance that we can be of help to the Bahamas and the Caribbean. But it is just that me being a part of it, I thought it best to impact the Bahamas first, to give us a first go at it, because this is my homeland, this is my country, this is where I live, and this is what I love. And we are privileged to be a part of this donation and to be of impact to the community of Grand Bahama.
Now, if you need medical equipment, you can contact the foundation by emailing EbenezerFoundation242@gmail.com. I'm Jay Philippe, ZNS Network News.
You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. Don't go away.
The Hardware Center, located on the Fishing Hole Road, presents their 2020 Hurricane Preparedness Checklist. Tip 5, groundwork.
Look, it's simple. Fidelity can consolidate all your bills for their debt consolidation loan. Give you 1 monthly payment and money in your pocket.
So let me get this straight, Miss Financial Coach. You say something about cash in my pocket?
Yes.
And a savings plan with 5% interest? Wow. Finally, a bank that's looking out for me. What you want me to sign?
That's not all. We also offer competitive interest rates and free financial coaching.
That's right, LD. You ain't hear me. Where do I sign?
Congratulations to 2020 graduate Jaya Culmer, sending you lots of love and best wishes from your mom Deidre, Nad, Malia, and the entire family.
September 1st, 2019 is a day that has etched itself into Bahamian history.
This storm was different.
I thought I would have been safe.
This is all the people know, so to speak, as it relates to Pelican Point.
So I made them go, I tell them to go and get the kids. You see? But they never returned.
I'm still waiting for my children to come. I never in my wildest dream, never thought.
When the current took me into the tree, I was able to hop up into the tree, and that's where I spent my hurricane from 2 till 6 in the morning.
A big stone house, wipe off the foundation.
Hell had to pass dry rock. This is East End after Dorian.
#1 news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
And that's going to do it for us here in the North, but be sure to stay tuned as the Bahamas Tonight continues. On behalf of the entire news team here in the North, I'm Megan Shepard. Have a safe and wonderful evening.